welcome. It's podcast number 61 of the Bags and Boards show. I'm your host, Comic Tom. I got Fire Guy Ryan in the house.
Ryan started the fire!
And I'm back from MegaCon. It was a glorious time. I met a lot of IG comic fan members, YouTube members. I got to meet so many members from the Whatnot Wednesday squad. Meet up with the homies. Oh my gosh, the soundboard is already going crazy. It sounds awful.
The homies button in so long.
It needed it. We needed a little Nate Dogg on this podcast. Hit the like, slap the subscribe button. We're here every single week. We try to be. Lost my voice last week. But if you are finding yourself wanting to listen to this show, it's available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and iTunes. If you are listening to us on a platform such as iTunes, where they allow you to review the podcast, do us a solid. It helps the show tremendously. And also hit the like and slap the subscribe. And if you comment on the YouTube video itself, not just in the chat, we have over 60 people here today, give or take 5. Those members in the chat are not going to be qualified for the giveaway of this Invincible #1 Omni-Man Kirkham variant unless they actually comment on the video. Very important.
Close the chat, drop a comment, bring the chat back up, and hang out with us.
Ryan, how you feeling, brother?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
It's a little bit later in the day than we normally start this show, but I think that might work out. We'll see how it goes. We normally do this several hours earlier.
We have read some tremendous comic books. Ryan, you got me to read a book I didn't want to read. I'm just being very real with you right now.
Part of it's good that you pushed that button because the conspiracy part of me thinks you didn't really lose your voice last week. You just really didn't want to read this book.
When I told you we had to reschedule, I knew that you were going to say, oh, is it because we were going to read Action Comics? And you know what, brother? It wasn't, but it could have been because you really had to like pull my arm to get me to read that. But you know what? I loved it, and we'll get to that in a little bit. We're also talking about a series that's being compared to, or rather what's being said about it is it's potentially the next Something is Killing the Children. Yeah, that's 2 bombs already that we've dropped on this already.
We need like a counter at the bottom.
I know.
I do.
We need to. It's going to be part of the show here pretty soon, Ryan. I'm upgrading the set.
You're going to have like 6 different bomb sounds.
Yeah, we're going to need them. It's artillery.
On the way.
That's what I need. We also, it's on the way for like 2 months. It's coming. I promise it's coming, comic fans. We also are going to talk about some valuable comic books that you may own / you need to know if you don't own them. Because when you're out on the hunt, you may pass it up because you'll think it's a dollar bin book, but it's actually worth a lot more. Let's get into it, but not before I tell you about the first way you can support the channel. I'm going to make it super quick for you. Bottom line, you go to Comictom101.com or link in the description. You join our monthly subscription box. What is the subscription box? Well, it's 4 to 6 randomly assorted comics that include 1, if not 2, sometimes 3, and maybe 4 exclusives. You know, I like to do surprise variants, but 1 per box this month. We are guaranteeing this glorious Alex Maleev cover, Kang the Conqueror, on New Fantastic Four #1. The box is $35 plus shipping. You get a print in there. You support the show directly. Join the community by the 15th of June if you want to get this cover. And I'll tell you, we have some amazing variants planned out. And whatever you sign up for at the price that it currently is, we grandfather our members. So if shipping goes up, which it has, if the cost of plastic goes up, which it has, or paper, oh yes it has, well, you're paying the rate that you signed up for because you got us to this point, and we appreciate you. It's the least we can do.
Still paying like $20, $25 from like when they first signed up years ago when we first started.
Yeah, when we started like this out of my garage.
Exactly.
And we were doing this all just you and me on a freaking like Friday night.
20 mail calls in a day.
That's right.
Of all month to make thousands of them.
Doing what we can do for the comic fam, you know.
That's right.
We also have a second very important place to show you. This is actually the sponsor of our show, of our podcast. This is Whatnot. You can find myself, Heron Heavens, and so many other amazing vetted sellers on the best new app to buy and sell collectibles. Take a look at my profile, Comictom101. You can already see 6 different streams scheduled. Every Wednesday, I team up with Heron Heavens, as well as the rest of the Whatnot Wednesday squad. That includes Gem Mint from Gem Mint Collectibles at 2 p.m.
It's your boy Gem Mint.
Followed up by Nerdy Girl Comics. Russ, the comic sensei over at Mill Geek, goes live at 4 o'clock. As mentioned, I am live at 5 o'clock. And yes, you're seeing this right. And for our audio members, that is a Silver Surfer 1 graded that we will be starting at $1.
You're seeing that? I can't see that.
It's right there. I can
So
see
small.
it. It's right there. And the next week we have a Thor Jane Foster day with a ton of amazing books. The following week, we're breaking out a Secret Wars 8 dollar start auctions that last as little as 15 seconds long. After my stream at 5, my dad joins us. I brought my dad back into comics this last year. It's amazing. Also, aside from Comic Pops, we have the duo, the dynamic duo, Skeleton Key Comics, Sammy and Tony that hits the mic after my dad at 7, the powerful Rage Theo at 8 o'clock, Golden Age Guru at 9 o'clock, and we end the day with Nate Johnson. When it's dope, it's really likely that Nate made it. Impeccable artist, unmatched, and he goes live at 10 o'clock. If not earlier, join Whatnot Wednesday. The link in the description if it's the first time that you've downloaded it. It actually supports the show directly after your first purchase. We each get $10. Amazing. And we can both buy more comic books. I did not want to read Action Comics #1. I fought it. Ryan, you told me.
Number 1036. We did read Action Comics.
Okay, I'm sorry. 1036. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me rephrase that.
Part 1 of this story arc.
Ryan, I did not want to read Action Comics 1036. You told me over a month ago. This was like 2 months ago. You're like, damn, dude, this is probably over a quarter. We're probably getting into last year, man.
It's a long run.
You were like, yo, Tom, I know you don't want to read Superman. Because, dude, every time we read Superman, it's like, I like it. But I don't like have that excitement, you know? I want that fire, you know? But you kept telling me. Just read it. We gotta read it. And you told me, like, all right, damn it, Tom. The arc is wrapping up. We gotta read it.
There's no time.
There was a delay, as I mentioned. And dude, this may be my favorite Superman narrative that I have read in years. And if there is a movie that gets adapted about a comic book run of Superman, it should be this one. Who's it by?
This Action Comics right now is currently being written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And the artist kind of rotates. There's a different artist sometimes. The standout and the one that's been doing the bulk of the heavy lifting during this story arc is Riccardo Federici.
Oh, and when you get to Riccardo Federici's art, hot damn, comic fam, outstanding. It takes already a wonderful story, captivating. It's jaw-dropping moments. You can't turn the page fast enough. And then it takes it up a whole level, a whole notch, because of the artist. And we're going to talk about it. But first, why don't we tell them about why reasons members may not want to read Superman like I did, but I don't want to sound... You look at this cover.
Not very inviting.
This right here is just like to me, this is Action Comics, all of Action Comics. Like this is modern Superman. He's looking badass on the cover. He's Superman. No one can beat him. It's going to be so fantastical because he's so overpowered. And then he's just going to fly into the sun and fix stuff. And it doesn't really matter. And it's all inconsequential. And it's all about how do you get him out of the narrative. Like, there's a lot of reasons people don't like Superman. And I don't mind Superman. I grew up reading JLA with my dad. Like, for sure. Huge respect. I probably got more love for DC than I do Marvel. Like, from the past. You know, I'm thinking like Vertigo days and things like that.
Yeah.
But this is not what we got. We got something special, yo.
I kind of forget what the main covers of this book look like. I've been subscribed to the B covers for Action Comics, and it's usually just Superman in a cool pose without all of this trade dress and kind of giving you
what are we looking at?
What it's about. This is Superman on the cover. You have the Authority,
which most people know. Who's Manchester Black?
It's a Grant Morrison miniseries from a long time ago that I never read that I think your dad loves.
Oh, he loves it. He just bought a bunch of it.
There's a whole bunch of characters in here I'm not familiar with. So right off the gate, this looks super intimidating and like, I'm not going to pick this up. There's a lot to get into here. It just looks like a whole thing and I don't want to read it.
Well, there we go. That's exactly how I felt, but you like Superman more than I do. And then everything changes because this right here is answering the question where Superman is. We also get a full, like, completion from 2 years ago of Future State.
Correct.
A tie to Future State that a lot of people have been waiting on, thinking that maybe they're just abandoning it to a degree. Also, this right here is less about Superman and more about the man, which you feel like has been done before, but it really hasn't. Not to this degree.
It has and it hasn't. But I think the tricky part with Superman is getting a writer on board who can look beyond the shiny distraction of this guy's got frozen breath, this guy's got laser eyes, this guy can punch buildings. You know, like that's all exciting and cool, but it gets boring after a while. We've all seen Superman display crazy feats of strength, but you really got to drill down into what makes him a man versus the super side of him.
So we have a planet that is.
This is how this story starts, which is why I thought I knew when I started rereading this, I was like, Tom's gonna hate this.
This is exactly
so much.
This is the first page. I'm already going, damn it, Ryan. Damn it, fire guy. Because, okay, page 1, a bunch of aliens from that Brian Michael Bendis planetary collective.
United Planets.
The United Planets. You know, United Nation, but it's planets, and it's in there. They love Superman because he's so good, but they can't help him because of reasons. Like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna just. You told me to keep reading, and I did. And now, great intro, because this right here is the foundation of the problem, which is for every good deed that Superman can do, there are countless other things that have to be worked on for it to actually play out. And Superman's not going to be the one to actually do it. He's just the strong hand. He's the one who's going to put it in motion. But who fixes the stuff? The ramifications of his success.
I've been distracted. There's 2 comments in the chat that you guys, you 2 specifically, Brandon and Mike, the last 2 comments we've got are you guys need to stick around and watch what we say, because both of you are saying, why has Superman gone down in popularity? I don't read it. He doesn't change. Same old thing. He's too perfect.
That's what this is about.
Stay tuned.
Just stay tuned. We're literally making the video for you right now, comic fam. Oh my God. What amazing content's coming out from us, Ryan.
It's very, me more than you.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's very easy to write off Superman because he's boring, because he's too strong, because he can solve anything with the blink of an eye, and he moves so fast, and he can freeze things and zap things with his eyes.
Okay. Well, first out,
you don't even see Superman. This is a weird, like, alien in space. You're getting
no external help is coming.
Correct.
That's all that this means, and for good reason. But we do have the Authority, who are traveling with Superman to a very specific place, a planet that is filled with individuals who are enslaved by Mongol,
right?
But who are also convinced, brainwashed, that their enslavement is not only a good thing, but can only begin to experience what limited levels of freedom that they could achieve through killing and becoming mass murderers.
You can see right here, it says Warworld Saga, Part 1. And that is the core of this entire story arc, is this planet Warworld, which is Mongol, like an old school Superman villain, being a dictator on this planet, basically.
You remember him from that glimpse in Naomi?
Very brief. Like 1 panel? Like
R.I.P. Naomi, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Canceled. Oh, bummer. But this is what they see when they show up to this world. Superman's thinking, I'm just going to be Superman and go, like, liberate all these people, like we've seen him do before, right? Well, look at this. We have a page where satellites are floating around the atmosphere as if it's a damn real satellite, but instead there's individuals from the planets chained that were left out there to die in space.
It's pretty dark.
Superman thinks he's going there to liberate them. He was actually being invited because they want him to come.
This technically isn't the first part of this it's a gigantic story arc from Philip Kennedy Johnson here.
Sure.
But right before this, there was a planet full of these people who managed to escape and crashed on Earth, and they were like, we need Superman's help. We need him to come rescue us. And Superman's like, I got to do it. It's probably a trap, but I got to do it anyway because they need my help, and I'm Superman and everything, you know, truth, justice, and all that. So that's kind of the build up to where we are here.
But look at this.
Ugh.
Upon arrival,
Ugh.
it's like a, you know, the worst case of like Willy Wonka and the Yellow Brick Road mixed with Game of Thrones here. Just countless
that's what I
bodies
was
saying,
thinking, yeah.
Superman, come on in. Look at on their bodies of all these
The S. Yeah, the
dead
logo.
individuals from this planet that are paving the way for Superman to go to the Gladiator Circle, the stadium that's in the distance here. They all have S's, likely in blood, if not painted on their chests.
Either way, it's a very clear message. Like, this is for you. Come on in.
That's right. So, upon entry, he's there to liberate these people, and he is stunned to find out that not only are they super brainwashed, they don't want Superman to liberate them.
They don't realize they are enslaved.
No, on the contrary, they find their enslavement and their brutality that they are not just enduring, but causing that allows them more and more freedom as a ability to become better themselves. So if anything, they want a piece of Superman. They want a piece of his essence. They want to kill Superman so they can become more powerful because that is life on this planet.
That's really what it boils down to. Mongol has managed to convince these people to worship the chains that keep them captive.
You only get more chains, again, more freedom.
When you're born, you start with your hands linked together in like handcuffs.
Right.
And every murder that you commit, you get 1 extra link added to your chain.
So some people are like, they're moving around like freely because there's so many chains.
This guy's got chains all wrapped around his arm and his whole body. He doesn't know what to do with them all.
Yep.
But basically, it convinces you to be more violent and commit more crimes and murders, and you will get more and more freedom to move and be. It's just a really creepy, cool idea.
So of course you have an introduction, and this is all like a brief moment of the first issue. Like we're not going to get too far into this, but we definitely have a setup where Superman is not getting external help. He's realizing that he's got to help these individuals on this planet because they are in danger. They are being treated terribly, but he also has to fix the situation in a way that he can't just punch out of it.
There's no yellow sun here.
No, on the contrary, it's radiating red sun. Upon entry, and really up until this point, he has been losing his power. And we're actually going to see Clark Kent go fully human. Yeah. He will be more savage, gladiator Superman than super. So, all right.
There's a lot here.
Let's just kind of breeze past this introduction because I really got to highlight the art. But what is really the thing that pulls you in, that makes you so excited about the next issues is that over the course of multiple issues, you're seeing Superman try and resolve this situation the only way he has figured out, which is he has to train as a human, absent of his powers, absent of the yellow sun. He becomes a gladiator, and you're seeing more of a man of steel, but in a literal sense, than a Kryptonian.
And he's never really experienced this before. He flies into this planet of people who are slaves, who are being held captive by this dictator, but they don't realize that they don't want to be freed, and he has no powers and abilities. And so now this is like a completely new, like, what do I do? How do I fix this?
Right.
This is not a normal situation that he finds himself in.
So already we have a great setup. You have the Authority, which are great ancillary characters. Some of them are sticking around. Some of them meet their demise, or they don't. We'll leave that to you to find out. But you also have a badass that is kicking ass on this planet separately, starting up his own rebellion.
Oh, Midnighter.
Dude.
One of the Authority members.
There's one issue of this run that is just about him, and it is so damn good. He's like decapitating mofos.
Superman obviously doesn't kill. That's his rule. He's trying to save this planet and these people by telling them the right thing to do and inspiring them to rise up. But Midnighter's just like, oh, I'm chopping heads. Like, we gotta go.
There's a point where he breaks in to save Superman, and Superman's got to be the one to be like, listen, man, we thought we can just fight our way out of this. No, I have to be here. I have to fight. I have to be in the stadium. I have to convince the civilization here that there is a better way to live.
I think that's my favorite moment in this whole story arc.
It's so good.
He's like, I know we can destroy the reactor in the bottom of this planet. It will reignite your powers. We'll be able to blast out of here and escape.
No, but you can't do that.
You can't do that without killing like most of the citizens of this entire planet. So Superman's like, that's not an option. We got to figure out a good way to do this that won't hurt that many people or anybody really.
So you already are you're in it to win it with this, because you're seeing a version of Superman, Kal-El, just becoming such a cool, as close to human being as I've seen him become. And then you get hit with Federici art. Hot damn, comic fam. It's just the perfect creator, the perfect painter.
Yeah.
For this type of gladiator tale. The detail. The colors,
I hesitate to say this.
How do you describe this, man? Because you're dealing with more of a, it's like a Conan-esque type of vibe.
Frazetta in my mind.
It's very Frazetta.
I have no right to make that claim. I'm very unfamiliar with Frazetta, but the word Frazetta just popped into my mind right now, even though I've been reading this book for a long time.
Because he knows the form, the figure, the muscles. Like there's so much time spent on every.
Can you scroll down and show off this monster? Because he's so good at drawing like creatures and monsters and like spooky buildings, and just like. When he takes over as interior artist for like a big chunk of the...
Look at this. This is where Clark Kent is imprisoned.
This creepy green coloring, the lighting in here, like the spikes on this prison cell. Like it's just scary.
The depth, the shadows. He knows when to really highlight something in a panel, but then also in the distance, you kind of just have to make it out yourself, but you know it's there. You know there's a person in that cage.
Any other artist would have just drawn a cage hanging from the ceiling, maybe a hallway with some cells in the background, but like this is just dripping with mood and tone and... Oh, goodness.
I know. I found this Instagram video of Federici.
Follow Riccardo Federici on Instagram. He's got a lot of like process videos like this. I get lost here.
It's so damn impressive. It's so crazy. Like you look at the head of Bruce Wayne here. We're looking at it just like a sketch with like the cowl and the face painted. And it looks like it's digital to a degree, but then you back up, and you're like, oh no, he's painting that on there.
And just seeing him adding in the details and the shadows and the muscles into his arm and like filling in the pencils that he did.
But you know what? It's not just this stunning creator, which when you get to the comic, you know it. You know something changed.
Yeah.
Something just got like important is happening now. But outside of that, the writing is paced so wonderfully. And this writer is probably going to surprise you because he's on a couple things that you need to know about.
Yeah, he's actually like low key one of my favorite writers. I don't think about it very often, but this is Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's also writing Alien for Marvel.
Yeah, and we've done a review on Alien, which was very elegant as far as how brutal and savage and scary and horrific it is.
Fits with a lot of this stuff too.
But it's such a good narrative that weaves you through that makes you kind of abandon the fantastical and like really brings you into the story. Again, wasn't a fan of this book until I really got into it and read it. I was like, you know. Even after the first couple pages, I'm like, all right, you know.
I also want to plug real quick. Philip Kennedy Johnson and Riccardo Federici, the artist we just showed you drawing Batman, they both did probably my favorite Black Label book called The Last God. It was like a year or two ago. It's like one of the hardest fantasy books I've ever read in my life. It's a solid favorite of mine. Go check out The Last God, 12-issue miniseries.
There it is, The Last God. Also, Philip Kennedy, he's actually on another title. It's coming out next month through Dynamite. That's going to surprise a lot of members of the community. But
August.
It's
in
August.
the current catalog, so you can go order this right now.
Go order it now, though. It's going to be, FOC here. But look at this. We have 007, Dynamite Comics. Oh, hell yeah.
I was very surprised to
This
find
is
this
perfect.
in the catalog. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't been this excited to read a 007 book.
I've always kind of wanted to. I've never really pulled the trigger on a James Bond comic, but the fact that he's starting a new #1 on here, like I'm sold, man. I've really liked everything I've read from Philip Kennedy Johnson, so I'm gonna jump in and see if this James Bond comic's any good.
Okay, Comic Fam, I got to know your thoughts about Action Comics. Are you reading it? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll remind you, it'll win a giveaway. Also, what are your thoughts about Superman and comics in general? I found this meme. I found it I chuckle about it because I think about this a lot, specifically with Superman, but just Superman in a meme that kind of just how I feel. It best defines it. It's this moment here. We've all seen the meme where it's Superman that's like trying to save a woman in a boat that's about to go off a cliff. So he's got Batman, and then Batman's holding Robin, and Robin's the one who's actually saving the day. But it's like, damn it, Superman, why don't you just fly and fix the day? It's like, Superman, you're such a freaking dick. What's going on here? But that's how I feel about a lot of Superman comics.
If you're one of the people who writes Superman off just on the surface, I think you owe it to yourself to check out this current Warworld story arc. It's phenomenal. It's one of my favorite Superman books I've ever read.
All right. Wow. So let's take it back a step here before we go on, because we got some valuable books that I want to talk about. But I wanted to do a big thank you to all the members of the Comic Fam at MegaCon who came out, went to the booth, went and said hi to us. All the members that we met. It's like one of the highlights of any show I do is getting to meet you in person. Such a special thing. And it was a very chaotic convention. Internet problems are happening. Our hotel, although was connected to the convention center, took like 15, 20 minutes of hustling to go back and forth between the rooms. So the next thing you know, you're like running in like 80-degree weather, and it's humid as all hell in Florida. And I didn't bring a freaking dolly, so I'm running around with the short box. It was pretty crazy.
So glad it didn't go.
But what I can say is, holy crap, Whatnot killed it. Like the booth here, I have a video that a member snapshotted, but this is what it's like at conventions right now. We have Whatnot streaming at booths. We had some members come out, and that's me right there. And I'd be giving away stuff and all that. So I'm breaking from the stream, doing giveaways, but like, look at this whole room. It is so amazing.
I was surprised to see their setup. They had a really cool booth with what do you call it? Inlaid lighting, the yellow lights, and everything just popped. It was very professional looking.
It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. We also, I gave away multiple books over the course of the weekend. This was a very humbling moment. Shout out to Carnivore Comics. That's Sean right there. But we gave away over $3,000 in comic books to Comic Fam members over the course of that weekend. Whether it was single issues of exclusives worth $20 or $50, or the Invincible #1 first print that we gave away on Friday, the Avengers 57 first Vision that we gave away on Saturday, or the first and second appearance of Shang-Chi we gave away on Sunday. And it's such a cool thing to be able to team up with a business that really cares about comics. You know, Whatnot was there. They made their presence known. And you get the kind of creators that they had there, such as James Tynion, such as Kevin Smith even showed up. Like, you get these professionals there because they also see just how amazing of a community that's developing over there. And they proved it by bringing the heat to the show. I have to show you something else that is just, it's pretty hilarious. Look at this. This is Guru. They brought a, like, you know, like a claw machine in Toy Story, you know?
Yeah.
The claw. Well, they put a bunch of slabs and comic grails and like just random pop toys and stuff at the bottom of this pit. And they were strapping people who waited in line. This is the Guru. We're looking at, you can see this on Instagram to an audio fam, but the Guru is literally getting strapped up. He's putting a helmet on and they're going to lift him, suspend him in the air. This is, guys, if you've never been to a convention, this may just seem like something silly. But if you've been to a convention, seeing the Guru the way we are right now is something you've never seen at a comic book show. And he's literally being suspended down into this pit. And there are books that are graded in there. Like, talk about raising the hype level at a comic book show, Whatnot. You damn killed it.
Who even had that idea? Let's make a big pit full of stuff and just string people up and drop them in like a train game.
It's got to be like, it's just
Genius.
the Whatnot. It's the Whatnot crew, man, and everybody over there. So big shout out to the members. And one of the bigger moments of the con for me was getting to meet James Tynion. All right. And you can see on my Instagram, I don't see why it's not, I don't have the video here, but I'll just tell you about it. But there's a brief little video I made, a live stream I did when I hosted a James Tynion signing. And I want to just give credit to where credit's due, because members wouldn't know this otherwise. But I was there. I sat and watched it take place.
Okay.
So Tyler Kirkham had a variant that dropped at this convention. There was a color version and a black and white version of an Erica Slaughter cover on issue 21.
Chainsaw Monsters. It was a cool cover.
Gorgeous book. And, you know, people had copies of it. I got a couple copies. I sold them on my stream. These books are selling really well. Like, sets going for like $100 plus, okay? And the prices at the con fluctuate from the con. Some are going up, some are going down, but these are strong selling books, right? James could have sold the copies on the stream for what they were selling for, which was like $50 for the color versions, and at the time, $75 for the sketch versions. And those are like competitive pricing, because the books would go up from then. And they knew that the prices were going for these, like, that's what they were going for. This is on the art representative, the company, Scott's Collectibles, Whatnot stream that this is all taking place on, okay?
Right, so this was somebody else's stream that James was doing a live signing on, and you were interviewing him.
And that's his art rep, so it's his stream.
Cool.
Yeah, if James is going to go on Whatnot, it's going on Scott's Collectibles.
He was not on the Comictom
No,
Whatnot
not
show.
at all.
You were on theirs.
No, I was hosting on theirs, right? Trying to help entertain the fam. I get a chance to talk to one of my favorite writers of all time. And he could have sold these for just under what the market was, competitive pricing at the convention, you know, $50 and $75 a pop. But this stream was for signed copies. People were waiting upwards of 3+ hours to get a signature from him at this convention. And he could have charged more. That's what most creators would do. I mean, you're spending an hour signing books, so you up the price accordingly. What do you typically charge at the convention, you know? So he could have charged more, and that's my point, is that he could have charged more. And when he was hit with the realization of what the comics were going for, and that he was going to be able to offer every single person who bought a book from him at that stream a signed book, I watched him say no. $25. I think the second one was
It was $25 and $35.
$35.
I was in that stream the whole time. I was very
$25
excited.
and $35.
Yeah. I almost bought one, but my credit card info was out of date and I couldn't do it. So someone got my copy.
So he essentially signed these for free and discounted the going rate of his own books, that it's like on his own title, severely. And there's a limited amount of books, and he was only on the mic for an hour. But in that moment, I saw someone go, how little can I charge for this? I'm going to hook up my community, my fans, the readers, the collectors. He did it for the comic fam, and he did it without hesitation. And to someone that I already have the utmost respect for, I wouldn't have batted an eye if he charged $100 per, because, dude, that's what they're worth. And it's his time. And he's James Tynion the fourth, dude. but he didn't. And he didn't skip a beat. He saw an opportunity to hook up his community, and he did. Someone needs to be on the mic to talk about these types of moments because it just happen. They just happen. And it goes beyond the title. It goes beyond the artist, the creator. It literally goes back to the person at the desk writing this for you. And he cares about his fans. And I felt that. And then I got to hit the mic and talk to him about Memetic. So, you know, what life am I living right now?
You mentioned my name to him twice?
I did.
I was very excited.
Dude, you're the freaking co-host of this podcast.
Closest
man.
I've ever gotten to James Tynion.
So, Comic Fam, go give Jimmy T some love. When you get your Tyler Kirkham variants, especially if you got some from that stream, tag him and give him a damn thank you because he didn't have to do that.
That's a solid move.
Solid move. All right, shall we talk about some valuable keys?
This was an interesting section on Key Collector.
Dude, I love when I get Ryan excited about collectible books because, Ryan, you have a very particular taste. If it's not Green Lantern or something you're actively hunting or excited about reading, it impresses you for a fun reason, something that I think a lot of other members can relate to because it's past the, oh, it's just scarce. It's past the, oh, it's the hot book at the time. No, it's like something about this collectible perked your ears.
First appearance of like Jimmy the Turtle Man. It's like, I don't care. Like, oh, that's cool, whatever.
It happens.
But this is like a different subset of like interesting reasons to be on the lookout for certain books. Like last time we got on the mic, we talked about like Superboy getting spanked. You know,
Ryan likes
weird
that
kind
one.
Of comics. I do like that one. That one stuck in my head.
It's how it goes, brother. It's how it goes.
And we're kind of back with a different category.
All right. Over on the best comic app to learn about funny books, to keep up with the rapidly moving marketplace. It's called Key Collector Comics. You know what it is. Shout out Nick Colonese, the mastermind behind the timeline, keeping all the variants damn in check. Literally. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this app, you download it, use Comictom101. You're in a free 2-week subscription and get categories like this one unlocked. This type of information you used to have to just know. You have to be part of forums. Let's go on CGC boards, you know. Be part of communities on Facebook.
Pre-internet, I don't even know how you would know this stuff.
Yeah, it's like, you know,
Trial and error.
This is the kind of stuff that people don't even like to talk about because you know what? The information will get out there and I won't be able to find it. But you know what? The internet's a thing now and Key Collector is here to stay. So now it's open to everyone. But this is one of those categories that if you actively practice knowing these books, you will find or uncover a book that's worth more than what you paid. And you may have some major comeuppance, and you can upgrade whatever books you have and get books that you never thought you'd dream of. Because that's how a lot of members do it in this community. They do the grind, let the hobby pay for itself.
It's your boy Gem Mint.
That's what Jem always says. So this right here is a category about valuable errors. Yes, what kind of errors happen in comic books, Ryan? Because there's all kinds.
Printing errors are the ones that come to mind.
Right.
Like miscolorings or just covers that aren't even printed the right way.
Yeah,
Or
just
interiors that are totally screwed up.
and what happens, you know, at printing presses? I mean, they don't know. Like printing presses, you're lucky if you have a Marvel or DC fan working there. Like this is just a printing house. They're there to get the job done. They don't know the key significance of a book.
That color's supposed to be blue. Stop everything and switch it up. Like they, you know, the most of the time I feel like they send it out and then they catch it on the back end.
Yeah, or sometimes they don't, and it creates these like micro subcategories of collectibles to hunt for, right? Sometimes they're scarce, sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's half the run, sometimes it's a third of the run. Well, these are 5 books you gotta know because they're valuable to some degree. You'll be surprised with some of these prices, and the more you know, the more savage. I've said savage a few times on the mic today. I just wanted to reiterate how savage it is.
Because it's on this image right here.
Yeah, and I want to read some Conan for some reason. It's probably that Federici art.
Just random detour. I read my first Conan the other day. I just put a whole batch of like weird Conan books into the mail call, and one of them caught my eye. I actually sat there and read a comic on the clock.
That's how we do it, man.
It was pretty cool. I had a good experience with my first Conan book.
All right, well, that's how it goes. We have valuable keys that you got to know because it'll make you dangerous on the hunt. If savage isn't the word you want to pick. Look at this. Kazar or Kazar? I don't even know. Comic Fam, you tell me.
Tell us in the chat because I'm wondering too.
I go back and forth so
Neither
much.
one sounds right.
I question
Kazar?
myself.
That doesn't sound right. But
Yeah.
Kazar sounds like an alien, like Quasar.
Well, we have Kazar the Savage. Oh my gosh, another Savage drop. Issue number 12. This came out in March 1982, and it has an error. What kind of error? This is a weird one. You only know if you open it up. Look at this.
Okay. I was trying to look on the cover to see it. Oh, goodness.
You see this bottom right here, bottom left? This one page?
The red panel?
The red panel. It's like a demon.
Is it supposed to look like that?
Nope. Whoopsies. Yeah, wasn't supposed to happen. And this is the information that we have on it. It's believed that 20% of the run has this error. So that means that it started in the print run, and then they fixed it, and then didn't do anything about it, and they just let it out. Or maybe they fixed it, didn't realize it was an issue, and those got out.
It looks cool. I wouldn't have caught that. I feel like that's what it's supposed to look like.
$12 high average sales because people don't know about it. This is the type of book that if you get a high grade, you may find this in a literal quarter bin, because who's buying Kazar 12 right now? Exactly. So the biggest comeuppance that you can have on a book that you're hunting for is something that you are more likely to find, specifically in high grade, that you can then fix / grade and flip. Wait for the day that something happens to it. Or, hey, you uncovered an error, and now you have that added layer of value that's just enough for you to make a profit off the book, or making competitive on a trade. You never know.
I just think they're cool to know.
You gotta know
It's just
man.
interesting to me.
Well, look at this one, man. You've seen this book multiple times. We're talking about Rogue. This is like, first solo series, which is a good reason to own it in itself. But this comic is a $10, $15 book. I think it hit heights of 20 for a near mint, but they printed this to all hell.
I was gonna say, several of the books we're about to go over, I've put the normal versions into the Mystery Mail Call frequently over the years.
1995 classic book. It's one of those easy mail call books. It's like, it's a $10, $15 book all day. It's hit higher than that too.
And
in
Rogue's
high grade.
awesome. Even for me, I don't even like X-Men, but Rogue's cool.
It's good. X-Men spec that's affordable because there's very few of that right now. And what's the error on this one?
Is the title, right? Isn't this a foil title?
Yep. And if you see this picture, you can see that there's a little bit of a drop shadow. That is not intentional. That whole Rogue is foil. That trade dress is foil, but the foil was off just a bit.
So the white underneath the letters it's all supposed to just be the foil, right?
Exactly.
But they misaligned it so you can it looks kind of like a 3D effect.
That's right.
Which I think is cool.
$120 high average sales on this book. And this is one of those weird ones that don't come up very often, that if you were to tell me that one sold for $400, I wouldn't be surprised. High average of 120 could be like a VF near mint book that someone's like, screw it, I'll get it because I want the error that bad. But a 9.8, a 9.6, even a 9.4 wouldn't surprise me that it shoots higher above that. And again, it's because of the foil. You got to know the foil.
It doesn't even look like an error.
It doesn't. It actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a drop shadow type of deal.
I've said that about a lot of the books we're about to go over. Like I think it just looks cool.
Okay, here we go. Look at this one right here. This is a Doctor Strange cover, Secret Defenders #1 from 1993. This is a pretty common book. And take a look at this. This is what the standard cover looks like. Ryan, you've seen this book many times.
Definitely put this in the mail call.
Yeah, we've got it. It's just classic Strange. And
Right.
It's a cool hologram cover. You got Wolverine on the front. But here's the thing. There are copies that exist that look like this. And what we're looking at is the same cover, but instead of it being red, it's black.
I think that looks cooler.
I do
Especially in
too.
the trade dress, the title
Yep.
in black.
And check this out. 2 copies known to exist. One at 9.8, one at 9.6. The high average that is suggested on Key Collector for a raw high-grade copy is $500, which means it could hit the moon if something like this comes up. I would bet that there are more copies of this that exist that people just don't realize are a thing. And it's such a common book that you gotta know that if you see this book, that something's off about it. And that's what we're trying to train you here with, Comic Fam. The more you see these types of books, and we may talk about them again, it's because we're trying to drill it in that you need to be able to go through a long box quickly and go, yeah, okay, cool.
Because it'd be one thing if they accidentally spelled it the Secret Defendors or something. They got a letter wrong.
And then they reprinted it or something like that.
But like this, you could look at it and maybe this is how it's supposed to look.
There you go. All right, look at this one here. We have a copy of a book that's not in the thing. Oh my goodness, bear with me. I'm gonna pull it up because it's too good to see.
Spotlight?
No, I was gonna talk about Avengers and then ASM. So let me grab the Avengers books.
Yeah, I did like
Yeah,
the Avengers
because
one.
it's too good to pass up. But take a look at this here. It's Avengers. I think it's 360. Yeah. Let's see if I can just whip it on over.
Whip it out, Tom.
Here we go. All right, look at this one here. Oh, let's not play that though. I'm gonna bring it on.
So many pop-ups on this site.
I know, right? It's just like the Marvel site, but you know how they do. You know how they do, Comic Fam. Okay, so we're talking about error comic books, And this one is too good to pass up, so I'm taking the time to stall on the mic because it is an Avengers cover that got foil treatment that everyone has seen before. So take a look at this cover. I'm pulling it up right here on the Marvel website. So this right here is Avengers issue number 360. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. Boom. So Avengers 360. This right here is just a cool Vision cover, and it's entirely foil. You've seen this before, right, Ryan?
Another mail call book I've put out. It's like a bronze coppery foil, entirely foil cover.
So
Very 90s.
93, this came out. There is an edition here that is, instead of it having the copper treatment, it actually didn't get it, and it's just silver. It's all silver. You can pick it out from 100 books and spot it like it's like the card is backwards on the deck. Like it's so clear as day that you can see this. If you have a silver copy of this book, it means that it didn't get the foil treatment correctly, the added copper treatment rather. And there's only been one sale that's happened in the last year, and it hit $1,000. Yes. This is why you need to know your random error print books. And we're going to leave you with one great book to spec on. Rumors for such a long time that we're going to see Black Cat on the screen eventually. Anya Taylor-Joy rumors, anyone? You know that would get my fan casting pick. I think she's amazing. But we do have the first appearance of Black Cat to talk about. This is another weird one that people, like a lot of members know. In the chat, they're going to be like, yeah, we know about this error. But here's the thing. Amazing Spider-Man 194. Sometimes errors happen on important books. Key books. This is the first appearance of Black Cat. 1979. High average sale for this book is super tough to project. So let's just give you the non-error 9.8 last high sale. It hit $4,808. So consider this. You're looking at this cover and it looks normal. Very normal. But since this book was inputted on Key Collector, and this has had updates in the last 2 months because of spec. So these numbers are pretty damn close, if not off by maybe 1 or 2, right? Out of the 465 listed copies of Amazing Spider-Man 194, sold and unsold, when you combine all of the issues that have been uploaded and didn't sell and sold on eBay, out of the 465 copies of this key book, a lonely 3 copies in an assortment of grades that were all rather low had this error print. This error is under 1% of the run if we go by what's available to be purchased in a rolling 90 days on eBay. Hot damn.
There it is. And I still don't notice. Like I learned about this error yesterday. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then you showed me again today, and I forgot again. Like, it's so, for me, this is very subtle. You say it jumps out, but like, I don't catch it.
Dude, I told Ryan, I'm like, do you see it? Because I was testing him. Because I know you've seen this error before.
Right.
But we see so many comics, we talk about so many. So I want to refresh your memory just like I want to refresh the communities. Hit the subscribe button. And I'm like joking. Oh, it's egregious. It's so hard to not see it. But then you look at it and you're like, wait, what's the error again? Dude, it's not a egregious error. It's very minor.
It looks like it might even be intentional, but it is definitely an error.
Look at the top right portion of the header. Marvel Comics Group, you have the code. And then right next to the code, there is what should be, according to this header,
solid red.
Solid red. But this right here, there is a bit of yellow.
That's it.
That little bit of yellow right there.
That's an error.
That was a whoopsies. A whoopsies. Rumor is that
call it whoopsies instead of errors.
Yeah, it's rumored that once the printer noticed the error, they quickly corrected it and it just kept going. So we talked about how they like to do that sometimes. Comic Fam, what are your favorite errors? And you know what? Ryan put a list of his favorites. I got to the list a little late this week.
Right.
So next week, we're going to continue the list with 5 other astounding errors that you have to know when you're on the hunt. It's very important. But I want to know some of your favorites in the comment section below. I love me some errors, brother.
They're interesting.
All right. Moving on. I want to talk about the community's commentary, and I have a feeling it's going to get spicy, Ryan. I like that you're sourcing these for me.
I'm sourcing them for you, but I kind of wish I didn't show you them beforehand. Right? We got to start doing it that way, where you just come in cold. I'll load them, I'll set up the video, and just surprise you with comments that I pick from the videos.
Is that what you want to do, Ryan? Because like it's like part of the planning.
In here that I wish you didn't see until we were on camera live.
That's true. I understand, Ryan. We may have to do that. We may not. I don't know. It's my show. All right, let's talk about the first comment by Walter Rocks. Look at this. Is Netflix going to be able to do the children getting brutally murdered justice, though? Talking about something is killing the children.
Yeah.
Which is probably important to preface before reading something like that on the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. They tell you in the title what's going to happen in the book, so
That's true,
if
right.
that's not a thing you're interested in reading, then you
That's
steer
a
clear.
good question because we know that something is killing the children has been option.
You
One of
talked
the
to James about it.
I sure did.
Yeah, you did.
We talked about a couple things. Can we
I
also
wish that video was available. Whatnot is like, it's a stream, it's done, it's gone.
dude, my live stream it has it in there.
It does? You can go back and watch the live stream with
I
James?
think I caught it enough, but I'm sure I can get the video in its entirety.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because the Whatnot stream captures it all.
You guys talked about some cool stuff. I'm glad I watched that whole thing.
I talked to him about mimetic. First thing I talked to him about. I wanted the first thing I ever said to James Tynion the Fourth. I wanted it to be about
Do you
mimetic.
not have it behind you anymore? Didn't you used to have Mimetic on somewhere?
I gotta put it back up. I gotta put it
I
back
think
up.
it's in the closet right here.
It's coming back. I'm waiting for a little bit. For good reason. Stay tuned. We have some cool books that we're making. However, I did mention the freaking nicest house on the lake, of course. The nice house on the lake. And I asked him if, knowing that he has said that this is a open shut 12-issue run that he is planning, if there was going to be a sequel. And I did it in a way where I wanted to see what he would say, but I was prepared for him to say no. But then he surprised the world because I think we broke this news, Ryan.
I think so too. It's the first I've ever heard of it.
He said that Nice House on the Lake was going to be seasons and that they would be back with a second season eventually. I don't think that's anywhere. I didn't see anything about Bleeding Cool talking about it. So that's why you have to hit the like and subscribe button, comment fan. We're breaking the news. Anyways, this is a good question about something that's killing the children though, because I see this book potentially being in creative limbo for quite some time. This may be a tough one to sell to actually even get the name on screen. You know what I'm saying?
I see Zorro here in our chat pointed out that Stranger Things has been brutally murdering children for years.
That's true.
So,
That's true, but it's not in the name.
correct.
That's the part that I'm a little worried about. It's just the name. And if they call it something else, that's going to be kind of a blow to the
Something
fandom.
might be killing the children.
Maybe killing the children.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not, and everything's good.
That's right.
And they're not going to be split in half in this narrative, which is what happens in the
Right
book.
in front of
you
their
know?
parents.
Speaking of Jimmy T, we got to do an unboxing.
We
Let's
got
do it.
Let's. Of course, Butch jumps up right when I need the table.
Kick him off.
I'm sorry, Butch.
Butch, we love you, brother, but
It's so much.
we
Say
got
hi.
to
Say
kick
hi.
out my child. I
Hi,
call him my
Butch.
brother. He's my child.
There he is.
Comic Butch.
He's grumpy.
Go the other direction. There it is. We got
Sorry, Butch.
packages from
The Onion drops.
The Onion Drop. This is James Tynion on
You
Substack.
got way more than me.
Dude, I got to get to opening this. I don't know what I got, man.
Yeah, we should have sliced these a little bit beforehand.
This is definitely one of those situations
There's
where
a story time to tell here, though.
we almost didn't get these.
Because at the start of every month, James Tynion on his Substack, which you should all know about by now. if
What's your
not,
Substack? Oh my
Go
gosh.
check out the video.
I'm so confused. What is Substack, Ryan?
We've done so many videos on this thing. Go watch.
It's Patreon, but this is where all your comic creators you love are actively doing stuff for you.
There's some creators on Patreon too.
Of course, shout out Ben T.
Shout out Mike Choi.
But-
Substack.
Substack, what's up?
Yeah.
And, this is my house of Slaughter covers.
I'm gonna start opening mine too.
Okay, so
We missed the ball on since we're Onion Club members, we get 2-day early access to these exclusive drops of variant covers and shirts and merch and stuff that comes out.
you pay a poquito more.
But
you
your
ensure
boy
yourself that
overslept and forgot that Monday was the magical day, so we had to wait till Wednesday, and we got a little panicked and maybe ordered a little too much.
we basically had to fight all the other muggles and to get them. We're standing there with our freaking bus pass saying, yeah, we still gotta like.
We were messaging each other,
But-
just panicking.
I
Like,
was so
it's
irritated,
9 a.m.
right?
Tom. It's 9 a.m. Let's go.
I know
Here's
we
the
had to
access
be there.
code.
So this is a House of Slaughter cover produced by the Tiny Onion team, and yeah, I got 5 copies because like, why wouldn't you get 5 copies of this glorious cover? It's really cool.
Is that? I think that's Dialinus.
Yeah.
That's his name. The guy who does Wind.
Yeah, and he has a handful of, I think he has more than one cover coming out from him too, if I'm not mistaken. So we got that one, but that's just the, anybody can get these ones when they upload on the website. But if you are a Substack subscriber, you get early access. Am I saying that right? Because anybody can go and get these books, right?
Your level of subscription determines how early you get access to these.
Thank you. That's the way to put it. But if you want to fight for, everyone else to get it, just go to the website and get it, right?
Ooh, okay. I'm forgetting what the
see.
variant numbers are for this.
Oh yeah, Department of Truth, baby.
This is a Martin Simmons Department of Truth. I think it's issue 18. The new issue of Department of Truth that just came out this month.
Oh my
this is
lord.
Martin Simmons Substack
Look.
exclusive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love being alive right now in comic books. This is so damn cool. Dude, we could have born on any timeline in any multiverse, and this is what we're getting to talk about right now.
I'm okay with that.
I'm so happy to be alive right now. Comic fam, I appreciate you guys for being here. This is good. This is good stuff. This is oh my God. You see this cover? She's lifting up the damn pyramids. Yes. Oh my goodness. That is so damn
I love that
cool.
you have that sound bite. That's a good one.
We got more coming.
It's very applicable for Department of Truth.
Okay, what else did we get? Because damn, dude, you're right. I got way more than you. We're doing a Jimmy T unboxing, comic fam.
We do
Check
one
out a Substack.
every
It's
month
amazing.
at least.
Yeah.
I swear I ordered a T-shirt.
Dude, I don't think I got my closet T-shirt yet.
You never did. No, I got mine.
You got
but
yours?
It's in my my dirty clothes pile.
Oh yes.
not ready for this show.
Yes. Yes. This is what I want. This is what I want. More of the same books. I did get more than one. So you gotta be quick because your boy's getting more than one copy. Yes.
That's true. There is a quota, right? I think there's a max.
Yeah, I think they only let you get like
4?
four per person or something like that.
Didn't you try to order more and they were like, no?
Yeah, you can't do it.
Just
I
like,
don't, I don't
nice
think
try.
you can do it.
Yeah.
But also, it's so hard to lock it down.
I was
You're
scared.
lucky to get what you get, man.
I was so scared. That's why. So I went in and I thought
Ryan was legit like having a panic attack.
I thought they were going to be like, I was going to order 2, right? Which is the max I was allowed to order. I thought I was going to order 2 and they were like, sorry, there's only 1 left.
Oh, baby, dude. Oh, comic fan, I'm holding up this Department of Truth gold foil.
That's a good one.
Tiny Onion. Yes, we are part of the Tiny Onion membership. The Onion Club, and this is what you get. You get foil variants straight from the source. Oh my goodness.
Mine's in here somewhere. I haven't gotten to that
Do
yet.
you see this? What I'm holding right now. This right here is what it's about, comic fam.
I need to still
wow.
check out like Donny
Damn.
Cates's Substack.
I know.
And
Me too, man.
Jonathan Hickman's, but I feel like this is the best one. Right?
Dude.
I don't know.
Dude, well,
Are they sending out gold foil stuff like this?
I don't know, man. I got more. I got more House of Slaughter books. Boom. That's what I did. So that's the only other ones I
I
got.
think I only got 2 of those, which I already
Oh man,
opened.
I probably went ham on those because I could. This is how it goes. Comic fam, I want to know: are you subscribed to the Tiny Onion Substack? Because I think you should.
It's worth it.
I mean, clearly, you make your money back in one damn book. You know, pretty damn cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep it going while you open up your last one.
I think this is my
That's
gold
probably
foil.
your last one. So I'm gonna keep it going here.
Do
and
it.
riff. This is by Corbin Owens. Corbin Dallas Multipass. I need to rewatch Midsommar and Hereditary because I truly found both to be some of the worst of the last decade.
I wish we could bring him on to talk.
Neither
like
lived
live.
up to the crazy hype everyone was building around it. So
what do you think is what's better than those this decade? Like a horror movie wise. Like if
that's
not these 2,
if
then
you're gonna
what?
give your opinion like that, you gotta give an example because this is someone who, I don't know, Corbin could be a lovely person, but those are some big words he just threw out there.
Could be a lovely person, but you're wrong. Tom's not gonna say it. I'll say it. You're wrong.
Oh no, he's absolutely wrong. Like it's like factually incorrect.
I would like
But-
to have it just. Ooh,
I know, show it off, man. Do it. He's got his foil and it's freaking sexy.
it's small, but you can see it down there in the corner.
There we go. Midsommar and Hereditary are some of the best horror movies to have ever been created. I think that out the gate, those being the first 2 movies that Ari Aster created,
Yep.
that he made, poured his blood, sweat, and tears into. I think that he could have just walked away and it would have been legendary status.
1, 2, drop the mic, leave.
Hereditary has one of the best third acts of any horror movie to date, hands down. It'll be talked about in film schools long term. And Midsommar is a horror movie in daylight. So like,
How many of those are there?
enough said about that. But praise Paimon. Let's keep it going. We have a very long comment by Rob Phoenix. Ryan, you got it. You got to be the one.
You want me to read this one? Should I do it like
Yeah.
a voice?
Yeah, let's do
No,
it.
it's okay.
No.
I found deals. This is from Rob Phoenix. I found deals before, but when I brought them up, the owners take them out of my stack and say they were not supposed to be there suddenly. Argued it, but ended up walking out and leaving everything there. Still haven't gone back to those stores. Never will. They were some run fillers, but because of spec, they suddenly were worth more. They'll be back to dollar bins. No doubt. Why I'm hugely against any spec now.
Wow. Oh, interesting. So not only is he pissed at his comic book store, He's pissed at the collectors community in general, specifically those who spec, which cause back issues to be worth more so that it's harder for you to acquire, especially at the rate you want to pay them. Am I kind of harnessing his comment in its entirety?
I think so. I've seen several complaints or posts about this starting to trying to spark a conversation on Instagram,
Right.
like people who price 50
At the
cent
counter.
bins, at the counter.
Yeah, you know, I think this is a larger conversation. Could be one to be that would be really worth having with like maybe some more affluent dealers who've been doing it longer than me, even like Jeff or Russ, the comic sensei. I mean, I've been doing comics since I was a little kid, but
I'd
I'm
like
talking
to have
like
Russ's perspective on this, especially on the
a
mic.
store owner, because Russ is someone who will probably sell you a $40 book he just found in his 50-cent bin for 50 cents and then be happy for you.
Because he says for him, it's more worth it to have somebody going through his 50-cent bins and rotating out old stock for him.
Yeah.
Clearing space. Otherwise, that stuff's just going to sit there forever.
But, I don't knock this person for saying that they don't want to go back to that store, because if what they're looking for is a store where they can go hunt for comic books and get them at the at an affordable rate, well, maybe that's not the store that you go to for that. I know that's not where I would go if I found out that, hey, this isn't the place to go to hunt or to restock back issues. Maybe this is the store to try to get your 1 in 10 incentives because the store owner knows you love Something's Killing Children.
Sure.
The store knows you love Jenny Frizen covers, so they pull that aside for you. There's so many other reasons why members choose to go to an LCS, or rather call their LCS what that is, like their own personal local comic shop. But a lot of people have multiple LCSs, but it depends on how much business you give them, where it kind of like stacks up. And if someone has this type of negative experience, I get that. I've been there where you think, oh, wow, I've just hunted 12 long boxes. I was here for an hour and I found one book that's $20, but I also got a bunch of other stuff that I'm buying too. And then they're pricing it at the counter and then they overprice it. And then you're going, I don't even want the book anymore. And I would have left a half hour ago. I have been there, but here's the thing. It doesn't make me dislike this shop for other reasons. I dislike how they handle that part of their shop. But to each their own. These shops close down at a rate that we are lucky that they even exist, okay? It doesn't even make sense that they exist. The reason why my dad didn't start a comic book store after buying his first collection when I was like 12 years old, he bought an entire store. He came up to Washington. Some members have heard this story, but the reason why he didn't is because as soon as he started doing his research, he found out that as much as like 95+% of new stores closed within 12 months.
Damn.
And he told my mom, I don't want to fail. So he did other things and started the dealer stuff and going to conventions and going to malls and doing eBay and learning how to do it in other ways. And that's what brought me into it. And I met all these people, and that's how the whole thing started, the whole story, right? However, this particular example is like, hey, that shop may need to sell you that book for $20 because that could be the difference of them being open, damn it. So
True.
I don't walk away from these situations going, screw that shop, they're dead to me, I'm gonna post about it online and complain. No. Like, you don't know what's going on.
If everybody does that too, that shop goes out of business.
It's no good.
And then you don't have a shop anymore, and that's one less LCS nearby.
For every shop that has back issue bins, you are fortunate that they have a back issue bin. Because most comic shops, there's not very many and they're closing all the time, left and right. Remind yourself, there was a point in the last 2 years where shops had to have a cash reserve of 3 months because the industry shut itself down. Nothing they can do, whether you like it or not. 3 months. Most stores can't survive 1 month, let alone 3 months. And then also have to split up their ordering processes between multiple distribution companies. And, oh, wow, my Marvel books don't come in this week because of something happened and whatever. And now I can't sell comics to pay my rent that month. Like, we don't know the individual grind that these stores are making. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But what you can say is if there are back issues in the back, you're already striking like you just hit something cool, because most shops don't have back issue bins. Most like comic shops, like standard shops that are at the mall and stuff, you're lucky if they have back issue bins. It's not their like main source of staying alive. It's like they're doing ongoing monthly titles. And then we get into how many people don't pick up their Wednesday books, Like there's so many other conversations that this can go. My point is that if you find a store that you are frustrated about how they handle the prices of their books, it just means that that particular comic book path forward of you acquiring comics is not the one that's for you. But what I will tell you is that store that you say, you know what, I found this book that's worth money. And you don't expect to get it for $1 when it's worth $100. Because you know what? Comic karma. You're thinking about the LCS a little bit. You being like doing that out of good faith and helping your store, that could have paybacks that you dream about having that you see your friends getting on Instagram. Oh, the store called me up when a new collection came in and they hit me up first. Comic karma creates those types of relationships with your stores, is what I'm saying.
You're saying, like, you bring it up to the register and you say, like, yo, just so you know, like, this was in your back issue bin. This is worth a little bit more than this.
I'll tell you, if I found an Ultimate Fallout 4 in a random back issue bin of a local comic shop, mom and pop shop, because I know a lot of them,
right?
I would not go to that counter and expect it for $1. I think there's
I would feel like kind of gross. If
I would
got
feel
away
gross
with that and went home. It would be like, yes. It'd be
you gotta
like,
be able to sleep at night in this hobby, and it's not worth it.
Hobby.
But you know what I have had experience happening? They say, oh, you know what? It's a $200 book you found. I'll give it to you for $100. And I will refuse anything more. Thank you for being honest. You know, like, 'cause I've had those types of moments. Those moments are way sweeter and long-term more beneficial for you and the LCS than, oh, I paid $1.
Because they'll remember you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll, like you said, they'll give you a call or something.
Oh yeah.
But they'll remember. That's good. That's good karma, no matter what, too.
It's good karma. You know, that's my opinion. You could totally disagree. And you have someone like Russ who's like, you found a $100 book in there.
Good
Bravo.
job.
Hell yeah. I'm proud of you for doing it.
And
so
that'll
like,
also make you want to come back to that shop again to keep hunting.
but that's a privilege of Mill Geek Comics to have. They are Russ runs his store in a way where he can go, you know what? We have 100 back issue bins. While we're open, go have fun, grab what you can because I'm trying to get you more.
And it's not worth his time to go digging through them to look for maybe this book jumped up from $1 to $10. Like,
Dude,
it's not worth his time.
I've been to shops that are literally out of a storage unit.
Damn.
All right. Like, not every shop is as fortunate as Mill Geek, who's taking care of their community, right? The way that he does. So you have back issues first. You're oh wow, you're in the promised land right now. Like, you don't expect back issues at every store you're in, let alone expect the absolute best price in the very back of the store when this may be some of like the only income that store may get that pushes that store owner who's probably working 50, 60 hours a week from getting paid 40 but working 60, that extra book here or there, that may be like what makes the job worth it to them. That makes them actually have longevity in this industry. I don't know. My 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, because it could be wrong. Maybe you just hate it. You know, you need to be able to get your Ultimate Fallout 4 for $1. I digress because I'm just sharing my opinion. We got to talk about more funny books. Specifically one about Santa Claus. What? This is nuts, dude.
This was a pleasant surprise. I almost didn't pre-order this comic.
Do you know 40-Year-Old Virgin, the movie, Steve Carell?
Yes.
There's a shot of him where they're like, what do you do on your free time? Because he's like a 40-year-old virgin, so he like plays video games, just karaoke, right? One of the things he does is read comic books because, you know, it's a trope, whatever. But the moment where he's in bed and he's reading, I think it's a JLA comic book. He's by himself, he's reading the comic book, and he's laughing at the book to himself. And he's like, oh, Superman. Like, it's like that emotion. It's like the one thing that I could point to as like, it's so damn accurate when you have a really good comic book. You could be by yourself and you're like affirming yourself that this is awesome. This is hilarious. This is special. This is funny. And it's because it only happens in comics, you know? And you can have that moment to yourself. I had that moment with this next book on the list multiple times. And that's when you really know you have something really cool. Naughty List #1 by Aftershock Comics. This right here is as if we have like Tim Allen Santa Claus, but instead cast as Keanu Reeves from John Wick.
Yeah, it's a really, like, this book makes you think about weird stuff. Like, yeah, like if I still haven't seen John Wick, but I feel like if Keanu were to play Santa in a movie, like modern day Keanu Reeves were to play Santa Claus in a movie, this would be the kind of movie he would do.
Right.
Written by Nick Santora with art by Lee Ferguson and covers by Franco Francavilla, who's like one of my favorite cover artists.
So, considering that this traditional Santa Claus tale where someone is bestowed the powers of Saint Nicholas and the responsibilities, it's a trope. This is something we've heard before. This is time and time again. But this right here is a different take, because what if that power was bestowed and you had no option but to endure it? to a form of being like not free, you know, and enslaved to a degree by a magical star. Because what we have here is a gentleman who's a good person at heart. 1,000 years ago, experiencing plagues and diseases, watching children pass, watching individuals struggle to even survive and eat food, you know? And he's just feeling the weight because he has a family and he can empathize because he has a child. He has a wife that he cares for. He loves him. And his life is actually pretty damn good. But he wishes upon a star. He wishes upon a star and he says he just wants to help the children. And it would be the biggest regret he would ever make in his life.
This is just such a weird, like, gritty origin story.
It is a Santa Claus tale, but it's brutal because this star that he wishes upon grants him the wish. But what is that wish? Well, it's to help children.
I wish that I could somehow bring a little joy to the children that needed it most.
Exactly. And this right here puts him in a position where the powers of Santa Claus, the responsibilities of Santa Claus, they become a reality, and he has no choice but to endure it. He now can't die. He now cannot age. He now has to basically Moon Knight it with this like star in the sky.
Like Khonshu, yeah.
It's like a Khonshu, right?
He's compulsively like carving little wooden toys here. This is how it starts, and he can't stop.
He can't stop. He has to make toys for children. His wife is like, dude, you got to stop, man.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go to work. He's like, no, I can't. I got to make more toys for the kids. And he's like losing his mind is what everyone thinks, but he's compulsively needing to work with his hands, and it gets worse because he doesn't age.
Sure, yeah. He doesn't age, and it ends up, he ends up outliving, yeah, you can see it here. I'm glad you got this page. He ends up outliving his wife and then outliving his daughter. And people in town are just like, you're not getting old. What the hell's wrong with you? You're a demon.
They start thinking the worst of him. And that's where he becomes an outcast. That's where he realizes that there's something that he has to do because he'll just be bored. He has an itch he can't scratch because he's being forced to have this urge to make toys for children, which is so weird to say. But then also, what else is he going to do? Because he's watching his family come and go. So
he stays the exact same age. So he just kind of decides to just lean into this whole Santa Claus thing.
He can't kill himself.
Yeah. This book gets kind of dark.
He tries to kill himself, but he just can't die.
Little Groundhog Day there.
Yeah, absolutely. But what ends up happening is he realizes, okay, I guess, I got to make toys for children. And there's money in making toys for children, I guess, because like people will help us make it happen. Also, hey, there's these other outcasts of our society, little people, and they want to help. They become the elves.
And we're just kind of seeing all of the various Santa Claus tropes kind of fall into place. Like you get the elves here and you get the reindeer start jumping in. And this whole first issue is basically all set up to show you how this guy becomes so jaded and cynical and bitter. And this different version of Santa than what we're used to from the advertisements.
Yeah, I mean, he looks at everybody dies in his life, including the reindeer and the elves.
Yeah.
He outlives everyone, so he can't have like a long-term relationship with anybody. So he becomes super bitter. It's like a mix between Bad Santa, and Tim Allen to a degree.
Sure, the Santa Claus.
But he looks up at the sky, at the star, and he's flipping it off in this panel because he hates what the star has made him, what he became. And he's thin, he's like a handsome dude. And he's in a world where people don't even believe in Santa Claus anymore. So he's bitter about that. Also, he's in a world where the average person has photoshopped and made obscure pictures of an overweight, obese person to represent him, which is the traditional Santa Claus, courtesy of Coca-Cola.
Correct. That's a true story.
Yep. So we have someone who, when faced with the problems of achieving the tasks of getting as many children as possible toys, the logistics of how it is gone about.
Did you get Nice House on the Lake vibes?
Oh, absolutely.
He wakes up one morning and there's just suddenly a printer printing out a list of all good names, bad names, nice list and naughty list.
How does he travel from point A to point B so damn quick? Magic. The star makes it happen. He's cursing the star.
He wakes up in the morning and it's just fixed. He has a way to solve that problem now, just like Nice House on the Lake.
But we'll leave you with this because this is, did I not put the damn picture in here?
I think that last one was right. Like the setup of this whole comic is delivered here at the end.
That's right. There is someone who steals the list
Someone steals his naughty list. The list of all the naughty kids or naughty people, I guess.
Yep.
And they're using it to like assassinate or murder people on that list because they want to, make the world a better place.
And as they go about doing that, there's collateral damage.
Sure.
Specifically, some children get involved by mistake, like they end up perishing. And that's like the last straw. He's like, I'm so cynical, but now I need to go and get the list back and kick some ass.
Someone's using my list to make the world a worse place. So I gotta correct that. And that's where they leave you off with issue 1 on this story. And
it's so good, man.
It's weirdly
it's wild.
Funny. It's dark.
It's dark. You're right. Weirdly funny is a good way to put it. Also, Nick Santora sounds very similar to Nick Santa Claus. His name is Nick.
Like Saint. No, man, I didn't even make that
You
connection.
right? It's Santora
X-Files.
and Nick. Which is the writer.
Nick.
All right, comic fam. That's some good
getting
stuff, man. That was I just.
It's a fun little book, and issue 2 just came out this last week, so it's still pretty early. If you want to try and track this down, Aftershock, it's a cool story.
They keep doing it, man. They routinely put out such just stellar books. All right, we want to hit you with a just very impressive video, and I want to talk about a Spec Potential / another sponsor of the show. But we get asked a lot, where do we send our comics to get pressed and cleaned if we want to do restoration, which I haven't done that as much, really at all. I've gotten books back that were restored, whoopsies. But as far as like going about the restoration process, where do I recommend people send? Well, it's a company that I've been following for over a year that do some damn alchemy. We're talking about Hero Restoration. You can go to hrcomics.com. They have amazing pricing, such a talented workforce, professionals of the art of fixing and repairing expensive paper. Look at this. We have a Conan issue number 24. This right here is the first cover appearance as well as the second full appearance in story of Red Sonja. The Song of Red Sonja. Underrated book. I love this damn key. And what you see on the left is a bunch of spine ticks that are just from a comic book probably being in a bag and board when it's this nice looking, but still over time getting bends. On the right, we have the effects of a press and how important a press can be before you get your books graded. If you're trying to send a book in to get a high grade, this right here demonstrates the disservice you're doing yourself by not pressing it. Now, I also encourage members to press comics themselves. I love pressing comics. I love fixing comics, restoring comics to their prime selves, not actually doing restoration myself, but specifically cleaning books, removing an extra staple. Like there's things like that I enjoy doing, but
maybe practice on a cheaper book.
Always practice, and learn from your mistakes and look up ways to do it. Cause there's a lot of members, shout out Reggie Collects, who does tutorials on this kind of stuff on his channel. However, when you're dealing with higher end books, I'll tell you, I don't trust myself to do some books. The Golden Age Guru has told me some damn horror stories of how he's gotten to the point where he is so confident in dealing with the high-end stuff he does because of the mistakes he's made in the past. So it's affordable, and you will put your comic in the best position for it to improve itself by sending it to professionals over at hrcomics.com, a partner of the show and a partner you can trust with your expensive paper. Moving on to what is being said is possibly the next. Something is killing the children. And I know there's members who are already getting irritated. And I hear you. I'm not telling you that it is what it is. I'm telling you that
people are saying.
That's what people are saying. That's what it was solicited as. And you know what? We're going to break that down a little bit about why and how we may assess independent runs like that, because that's a big level to bring an independent book, wouldn't you say?
The fact that they're calling it the next Something is Killing the Children, meaning like, what other book is there in recent memory? Like Saga, I guess? Especially for like indie books too. Like it's a pretty high bar to clear, which is why I'm a little skeptical personally. But we're going to get into it. It's going to be an interesting discussion, I think, with this book.
We're talking about Grimm, #1, Stephanie Phillips. I'm going to tell you about the artist here in a second, but issue #1 on Grimm. So we write down the creators' names because we want to give them credit.
Right.
And obviously Stephanie Phillips said this, but I couldn't remember the name of the artist. And what did you say, Ryan?
I said it's a one-word name. I was trying to guess it because
He's like, it's like a one-word name. It's like Madonna. It's like
Right?
Flavor Flav. You know, and I stopped and I'm like, it's like Flavor Flav, Ryan. I'm gonna make fun of you for saying that,
No
Ryan.
disrespect to the artist of this book.
But his name is Flaviano, so it's pretty damn close,
It's one
Ryan.
word.
It's pretty close.
No disrespect, because the art is my personal favorite part about this book. I love this comic, but I love the way it's illustrated.
Okay, so let's break it down because I want to talk about the book itself. Why you need to add to your pull list because it's actually really damn good.
Pretty
But
good.
I also want to have a real conversation about why people would think.
There's an interesting meta conversation to have here
Yes.
behind this comic.
And I obviously want to hear the community in the comment section below tell me about it. So we have a person that we get introduced to who just died. They have I believe it was a drunk driving accident. Just came back from a bar, and he's waking up. But he's waking up to find out that he's dead. And the person who wakes him up is Jessica Harrow, who is...
Like a sexy
Or Harrow.
Reaper.
Harrow?
I think it's Harrow. Like
Harrow.
like
Jessica
in Moon
Harrow.
Knight.
Yeah, just like in Arthur Harrow. There we go. So we have Jessica Harrow. What did you call her?
I said like a sexy Grim Reaper.
Yeah, sexy Grim Reaper. Look at that
This
bodysuit.
awesome like red hologram kind of scythe. It's
That's
a very
right.
cool image, and I think we're gonna get into that later. But like her design is
Mm-hmm.
pretty top notch.
Yep, she is informing this person that they're dead, and her job as the Grim Reaper.
There's a Grim Reaper, not the Grim Reaper. Right?
Yeah.
We'll get into that too in the book.
Yeah,
There's more than one.
her job is to transport person from point A to point B, which is a pretty dangerous path, which is why you're glad you have your Grim Reaper there at the time of death. We're getting into the afterlife with Boom Studios.
Yeah.
What? See,
This is where you
this
lose
is
me.
where Ryan says, I want to read something by, something with mafia
Sure.
people
Exactly.
in it,
If this was Al Capone ferrying you to the afterlife, then I'd be all into it.
There we go.
Yeah.
No. But bear with us because yes, it's supernatural, and there is a aspect of supernatural with something that's killing the children that people enjoy, that you enjoy.
Sure.
But it's not as on the nose as this. This right here is fantastical. Supernatural, you died. Now we're talking about afterlife, Grim Reaper stuff. Okay.
Actually, kind of reminds me of Moon Knight when they're on that boat on the sea of like wheat or whatever, and there's it's kind of similar vibes. Afterlife, gods, mythology.
But look at this. Look at the detail. Like all the tormented souls here.
creepy as hell.
The river. This is the hellscape. And this is a person that is struggling with the reality that he is going into the afterlife and he's hitching a ride with, not hitching a ride, but like basically being taken to the next point of his journey by Miss Harrow. So what we find out is on that path to whether or not you are going to be going to hell or heaven or whatever happens, like we don't really know the details yet. That's what is being dove into in this comic book.
Still pretty new. This book came out like 2-3 weeks ago at this point.
You get hit with a waiting room. This book's hilarious. So you have a spot where you have to wait for your ticket. And eventually your number will be called, and that's where you will go from point A to point B. And our Grim Reaper has done her job. She just has to collect the soul, bring the soul to this area where they then wait to go on to their next journey, and then she goes back to it. But here's the thing. In this journey, some questions are raised. Because obviously when someone dies, they want to be hit with as much information as they can because they're in like as much state of shock as you can be in the afterlife. I can imagine you'd be pretty stressed out. She has to acknowledge that she doesn't actually know how she got this job. She doesn't know how she died herself. And she also doesn't know where the main Grim Reaper is.
Sure. Interesting setup. Nice mystery to keep you coming back for future issues. Maybe.
I think so, especially with an ending like this, because someone steals her scythe
Correct.
and you see a different version of her get unleashed. One that's more demonic, more skull-like. And this is a badass character. I mean, she's rocking some cool tennis shoes. She's got a damn cool weapon. And her job is pretty brutal. Like, she's dealing with people at their worst point once they realize that, hey, I screwed up and accidentally killed myself, specifically in this comic book. So, setup's great. We have a really cool lead protagonist,
Yep.
drawn exquisitely.
The art's really good.
But look at this. Let's look at the covers. Because this is now how we're going to link off to this comparison that people are making.
We're branching off into a different conversation here.
So first off, Let's talk about the covers.
We want to look at the covers first because they're cool, and that's a big part of why this book pops. And this Jenny Frison variant, we actually put this book into the can't miss box for I think May, whatever. Yeah, for the May can't miss box.
Mm-hmm.
We specifically ordered a bunch of this cover for people because it's Jenny Frison and it's beautiful.
Yep, it's gorgeous. And we have not only Jenny Frison, but a lot of really like vibrant colors because the color schemes in the book warrant this type of artwork on the cover.
Correct.
We also have a Jay Lee cover that just, I thought this was Something That's Killing the Children for a second.
It kind of gives you that vibe.
Because he's made variants similar to this in other titles. Heck, I have a White Ash variant that's metal that looks very similar to this. So this comparison to Something Is Killing the Children. First off, what does that mean? What are some of the markers that we have to hit if that's going to be a real comic book comparison?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Because I think of titles like Why the Last Man. I think of titles like Saga, as you said. These are titles that it'd be tough to expect Saga to hit the screen anytime soon. And when it does, it's going to take another fight to get it to the screen. It could be in development hell. Why the Last Man was in development hell for over 10 years. And then it hit. And it got canceled. And now, good luck, right? But what I will say is, those runs are so respected. Those issue 1 9.8 still go for really high amounts because they've ascended in the independent marketplace and they have like sunk their roots into the collector's market so much that there's such a level of respect for Brian K. Vaughan that those titles, being both written by Brian K. Vaughan, have hit a status that Jimmy T has hit with multiple comic books already. I believe. Something That's Killing the Children is the leading one, of course. But why are some of those reasons that we can put Something That's Killing the Children along the ranks of a Saga?
Because that book had how many printings for issue number 1 of Something That's Killing the Children? Like 5, 6, 7?
They're still doing it.
There's so many.
We just got a David Mack multi-pack of reprints.
Those were pretty gorgeous too.
They're still doing it.
So I guess on that level, to be the next Something Is Killing the Children, you have to have a sales component. There's a bunch of different things that go into it, but yeah, like just heat in general, like people clamoring for it and selling
heat that doesn't die out.
Correct. That's also important too.
So
because there's a bunch of comics that get a second print and then that's it.
That's it.
Right. Maybe a third print.
Mm-hmm.
But to keep going and going and going, that's an important part.
That's like that's the Saga vibe,
right?
You know, like that volume 1. It's one of the highest printed graphic novels, I believe, of all time.
Makes sense.
That's saying something right there.
You also got to have,
if not for sure, Image Comics. You know,
an interesting character design. I think is super important.
Yeah, and
as
this
you
is
can see by all these cool covers, they pop because she's just a cool character.
She's
right
memorable.
Yeah,
she's got spunk, great character design. And that narrative that's already building where she doesn't know about her past, she doesn't know how she died. Hey, when was the last time you read a Grimm Reaper story? Like, here's one thing that Something That's Killing the Children is that we've read multiple times. It's a monster story.
Sure.
It's different.
Monster hunters.
But we believe the monsters to be real, so now they're real. Don't kid yourself. Like, it's a trope. It's a trope. It's okay. But it's, wait for it, the similar trope to Department of Truth.
Yeah, his own book.
His own book. Okay. But here's the thing. We don't care because it's so damn good. I love it.
I think that argument can be made here too.
But Grimm Reaper, when was the last time you read a comic book Grimm Reaper tale that you were like, you really remember?
Yeah. You're
Dead
right,
Like
I
Me
guess.
on, what is it, Showtime?
Yeah, but the concept of a Grimm Reaper and exploring death.
Sure.
You know, that's not brand new material.
Neither is a Monster Hunter book, but there are elements in it that make it so compelling that, okay, I see why people are collecting this already. It hasn't gone crazy. But I understand. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to assess those who are part of the market, who are purchasing and who are fans. Because that's a big thing to say.
And if we could rewind 3 years and be having this exact same conversation about Something That's Killing the Children number 1 at the time, you know, what's this, you know, what would you be saying at that point too? She's got a cool design. It's an extremely cool premise.
Very unlikely it'll be optioned. And if it did, it's going to take forever. And hey, we found out about option status over a year ago, right? It's been a year at least, 6 months. I can't remember. I got to pull up Key Collector. But it's been a while. It's been a while. But I doubt that it's going to be out of this limbo for quite a long time.
Do you think we've had
We could see a Grimm before a Something That's Killing the Children if this gets optioned. I'm not saying it's optioned. I have no news on this. But if you were to tell me Grimm got optioned today, I would find it more likely that Grimm, upwards of a year after Something That's Killing the Children got optioned, right, would see the screen faster. Because Something That's Killing the Children, that's a big ask for a studio to take on.
Right.
Just because of the name alone, let alone everything else that's in the book.
Sure.
It could happen. But will it?
Probably. I hope so.
I hope so too. Pray to Thor. But we're talking about the next Something is Killing the Children here.
Do you think, has there been a next to Something is Killing the Children since then? Has there been another book that popped off that hard, that successfully, or is that still the most recent, like, high bar?
Is there another independent comic book that you would put on that level?
I don't even know if I put a big 2 book on that level since then either. Any comic book since Something is Killing, I mean, maybe the chat can help us out, but like I'm
coming up for
that's the high bar
at a loss. I mean, I know Spawn's hitting crazy records, but it's not the
Berserker
same.
sold a lot, but like,
But this is different.
yeah,
People say, "Yo, you want to get into comics? Here's a crazy story."
you don't hand them Berserker.
Yeah, you give them Something That's Killing the Children. It is what it
Anything
is.
but Berserker, if you ask me. But
It's not.
these are all boom
dude,
books. Too,
I like
check it
Berserker,
out.
man.
I do
Berserker's pretty
too,
damn
but
cool.
It's fine.
It's gonna be an anime and a show. Comic fan, we gotta know your thoughts about this. Is Grimm the next Something is Killing the Children? I think it could be. It may not be. It's a big order. I mean, Something's Killing the Children is definitely ascended over the last couple of years for good reason. Put it on your pull list. We appreciate your time today. Make sure to hit the like and slap the subscribe button. Enter to win this Omni-Man Invincible #1 variant by commenting down below. I gotta hear your thoughts about this show. I think it was dynamite. We talked about
Did we
a
finish?
bunch
Was
of
that it
stuff.
already?
Dude.
I guess it's been an hour and a half.
Oh, it has been an hour and a half, and
What did we skip?
yeah, I was going to talk about Red Sonja a bit more. So I'm going to continue this bit for a second because I kind of broke it up.
Looping back.
I'm looping back to the very beginning because this is going to be a clip. So the reason why I thought Red Sonja was a cool book to highlight outside of the pressing, the pressing that takes place in that video and showing Hero Restoration and their abilities to fix a comic so well. I wanted to also mention that Red Sonja is a book that's seeing some tremendous dips right now. I'm seeing 5, 10, 15, 20, 30% dips since its prior heights. And I've been covering this book, rather Red Sonja Keys, for months now. Specifically issues 23 and 24, the first and second appearances respectively. My notes here show, when I pulled up GPA, 5% to 20% down across the damn board. Now, here's the thing. This got optioned for a movie status last year. But then in March of this year, the actress tied to portray Red Sonja quit the role. They lost the director and the book started tanking. People thought that this was going to be back into development hell like it's been for like 10 years.
Wonder why.
So people kind of gave up on it. But here's the thing. Last month, word of production resuming, it's still happening. The money's there. They're going to be making this a movie and they are recasting roles and they're back to filming. So with this lull that's taken place, this is the perfect time because this doesn't happen often where something that looks like it's going to happen then just sits, all right, it's for sure not going to happen. The rug's been pulled. Oh, wait, hold up. It's still happening and people just kind of dumped their comics and moved on.
Kind of
Now
happened to Why
is
the
the
Last
time.
Man, actually. There was like a show like 10 years ago they were going to do with Shia LaBeouf, and they had a whole thing set up, and then it fell apart, and then it restarted back up.
It took hits, but then there was a time to grab it. Well, this is what's interesting about this one is that it's not going to take 10 years. Active production. So keep an eye on Conan. That's the reason why the members sent the book in to get pressed. Throwing that out there. We appreciate your time today, comic fan. Make sure to go to Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or iTunes if you prefer to listen to us.
Listen to us.
Listen to us. Damn it. Fire Guy Ryan in the house. Where can they find you, Fire Guy?
At Fire Guy Ryan. I'm on Instagram at Fire Guy Ryan. I'm on YouTube. I have my own channel. Just crossed 700 subscribers the other day.
Comic fan, Ryan is hitting the mic just dishing about comic books he's reading like every week. You got to go follow him on YouTube. It's a fun time. I like to join the chat sometimes and
I saw you jump in there. That was
start,
fun.
yeah, just arguing with you. It's a good
exciting.
time. I love watching Ryan get passionate about books, especially when you don't like them.
Yeah, it happens.
It's so funny because so many people really like the books you like.
Yeah.
So then it turns into an interesting conversation.
I try.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Comic fam, the June mystery mail call is an active enrollment for 2 more weeks. Don't miss out on this fantastic 4 cover.
Are we delaying it? Did I hear that right?
It's going out
week
like
late?
the 25th of the month or something. But
Okay.
the cutoff is the 15th.
The cutoff is the same as always, but
Yeah.
it's coming out because everything's getting shipped weird.
Yeah, dude. Everything. Like, guys, to put this.
Sorry to give
this
you
box
inside baseball or whatever it's called.
Yeah, sports ball. Inside sports ball.
It's a saying.
It's a thing people say, Ryan.
inside baseball.
We had like 3 titles get delayed. there's a paper shortage. So that means that, oh snap, I have to move this around. Will this book be in time? And a lot of our books are coming in the week of.
It's going to be a busy week when all that stuff hits.
It's going to start hitting in the next week and a half, though. So fortunately, the team is ready for it. And you need to give them more things to do. It's going to be a busy month for our team. That's Fire Guy Ryan. You can support the show by going to Comictom101.com. We'll see you tomorrow over on the best new place to buy and sell collectibles. That's Whatnot. And as always,
Geek responsibly.
enough said.
Geek responsibly. Right now. And enough said.
We done.
We're done.
Fire Guy Ryan, we did it.
I think so. You sure we didn't forget anything? That felt real quick. But it was an hour and 40 minutes now.
We did all the books we were talking about. We did all the things. We talked about stuff. It was a good time. My life changed a little bit from that conversation. I hope the yours did too.
No.
Not
It
so much.
changed for the worse.
Yeah, you're feeling worse off than when you got here?
Joseph Christian says, did I just miss the stream?
No, man, we're still streaming right now, but we're going to be wrapping up here pretty soon.
You missed most of it, although this part...
The podcast is officially over.
You will not be able to catch this part on the replay.
That's right. No, we cut this out. Or will we?
Who knows?